Hello, Amador County. It's July 17th, 2014. I'm here at the beautiful Jackson Rancheria Casino Hotel, and this is beer pairing on the terrace. We got Firestone Walker Brewery, and the executive chef here, MJ, has prepared some excellent food and beer pairings. So we're going to be taking you around and talking to some different folks involved in the event, and some guests. You can get an idea of how the wonderful food and the great beer comes together to make an excellent evening. So tune in and enjoy. I'm here at the Rancheria Hotel outside of Jackson with Bailey from the Rancheria and Duncan from Firestone Walker Brewery, and they're going to tell us a little bit about the beer pairing on the Terrace event.
Hi, so this is our second beer pairing on the Terrace event, and we brought Firestone out. It's a 4-course dinner. They get to walk around and go to each station as many times as they'd like. Each entree or course is paired with a Firestone beer. So 4 different beers, 4 different courses, live music with Tess, our local favorite, and yeah, just a nice evening out on the terrace.
So is this the first time that Firestone has been at the event?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your brewery and some of the beers that are going to be here today?
Well, we're from Paso Robles. This is our 18th year. We were started in 1996 by Adam Firestone and David Walker. And being from Paso Robles, it's an honor for me. I'm from Sacramento, but I have a lot of family roots in the Jackson area, and just a pleasure to be up here and work with Bailey and her staff, and they just kick butt. It's been a lot of fun.
Wonderful. Now, Paso Robles, people know it for wine, so do you find it kind of hard to distinguish yourself as a beer in a big wine region?
Actually, not at all. The roots of Firestone Walker were started in wine. The Firestone family had a vineyard for a long time, and the original idea for our brewery was to ferment our beer in used wine barrels, and although that didn't work out, we've kept the roots with using oak in a lot of our beers, and we've taken off from there, and it's become part of the identity of the brewery.
That's pretty exciting, actually, to think of the whole fusion of wine and beer in your roots. Now, I know, Bailey, you've done other events that are beer-related. Are you just a big beer person? Why is it always about the beer? Not that I complain.
No, it's okay. It's not always about the beer. I like wine, too, but absolutely. I study beer. It's a passion of mine. So, yeah, I like to bring craft brewery events to Amador County. We do have our Sierra Foothill Harvest Brew Fest, which is coming October 19th here at the casino. We're having over 20 breweries at that event, and that is a fundraiser for our nonprofit Second Generation, which is the local foundation that gives money back to our agricultural kids, so 4-H and FFA. So that event will be our second time this coming October. So we're excited about that, and this is the second beer pairing on the terrace. The first one we did was last year in August, and we did it with Dust Bowl Brewing coming out of Terrace.
A third beer event on the horizon, possibly?
Hopefully, but definitely the one in October is already planned. So October 19th from 1 to 4, and those tickets are already on sale. They're $20 in advance and $25 at the door. Designated driver tickets are $10. Very nice.
Seems like they're adding hops to just about. Indian pale lagers are popular now, hoppy pilsners. What about you? Out of the selection from today, what's your favorite Firestone Walker beer?
I'm a Union Jack drinker by trade. I'm a big IPA guy, so Union Jack was something I drank for a long time, but Vivo Pils has only been out for about 2 years for us, and during the hot days of summer, the dog days of summer, if you will, that's been my go-to beer. In California, we're big fans of the hops, and we're dry hopping that, and it's given this lovely light lagerish type beer with a little bit of a lemon zest taste to it with the dry hops we're using. So I go back and forth. It's hard to choose. It's hard to choose.
It is hard to choose. So perfect. Now I'm going to ask an odd question off the wall. Outside of Firestone, what's your favorite beer?
That's tough. I mean, I'm a NorCal kid, so Sierra Nevada has always had a close place in my heart. So any of the Sierra Nevada beers, Pale Ale, Torpedo.
Well, thanks for taking the time to talk with me, and I'll probably circle around later and talk with both of you a little bit more.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. I'm here with MJ, the banquet chef at the Jackson Rancheria, and he also happens to be one of it seems, the many beer gurus. And in designing the menu today, his job was not only coming up with a good menu, but one that properly pairs with the different beers. So MJ, why don't you tell us a little bit about that process?
You got it. I'm definitely not a guru, more of a beer geek, beer head, beer geek, whatever you want to call it. One of my favorite breweries has always been Firestone Walker. They actually sent out a couple of different varietals. Unfortunately, I'm very familiar with most of them, so it was a piece of cake for me. Some of the varietals they gave us, as far as their Union Jack, I drink regularly. Their Pale 31 is one of my all-time favorites as well. American Pale Ale, not too hoppy, but still has that Citra hop that comes through. It's phenomenal. One of the ones that I was very surprised on was the Wookiee Jack. I'm a big Black A IPA fan, in which they actually took that one with a malted rye. When a little happy surprise was I paired it with a little nut caramel or caramel nut tartlet, in which we reduced the beer down and brought a really nice rye bread, almost a toasty taste to the nut caramel, and it paired phenomenally. It was delicious.
So when you're talking about, a lot of these beers are really hoppy. So can you talk a little bit about what a hoppy flavor is and how you pair that hoppy flavor with foods in general?
Absolutely. I mean, definitely being in the wine country, everybody knows some of the oakiness and the toastiness and all these other flavors that come through. Hoppiness is a little more on the bittery side. You definitely get a little bit more of a mouthfeel through it. So you always look for beer or food that'll pair well with it, cut through it, or complement it. And for some of these dishes, such as my spicy, sticky, sweet, and tangy wings, I love them so much. I wanted something that's going to cut through that hoppiness of the Union Jack. Hoppy, you're going to get those bittery flavors, and I wanted something that's going to complement it with some of the citrus that I add to it. Some of the fish sauce that's in the sauce itself is going to cut right through it. But in the same respect, it's going to cut through it, complement it, and compare to it. It's phenomenal.
So when you're pairing food with beer, what is the hardest type of beer to pair?
A lot of people say stouts or anything dark. First thing they think of is chocolate, and don't get me wrong, I'm the same way. Love chocolate. During the decision making of the actual menu, they gave us a saison. Saison has these nice, bright, peppery notes, and being seasonal, we wanted to match it. But in the same respect, we want to make sure that our guests are happy.
So if I were only going to eat one of the items on the menu today, which one do you think it should be?
In all honesty, our Santa Maria tri-tip. We love Santa Maria tri-tip. We've been marinating this tri-tip actually for about 3 days in the Pale 31 or the Pale 31 American Pale Ale, along with some California chilies, some ton of garlic. And when I say garlic, I mean garlic, peppercorns, coriander, some real bright flavors that are going to match with that beer. One day we actually pulled it out. We smothered it with a nice chimichurri, some brightness with that, some smoky paprika to give it some balance in there, and then slow and low right over some live oak wood that we actually took right here off the property.
So you chopped a tree down and you used it to cook?
Absolutely.
Where was the tree? Was it like over there?
It's actually a part of our tribal property, kind of offset, so where the general store is. It's kind of in between here and the general store. We have a couple houses out there, and a couple of the trees, they actually were ever so nice enough to cut down and give us a whole bundle full.
Is there anything else you think you can grow up here? Maybe plant some hops, brew some beer?
I was actually talking to one of our directors of landscaping, and he actually thinks it's a great idea, especially for some gardens. If you ever check out Lone Wolf, which is one of my favorite restaurants, there's a nice patio out there that would do wonders with some herbs, especially rosemary, garlic, and tomatoes, and some other great perennials.
All right, wonderful. Well, is there anything else you want to add? Anything for the viewers that aren't here, but their mouth's already savoring?
Just come out, locals nights, especially at Lone Wolf. We have locals night, date night over there. Buffet's doing some wonderful stuff with seafood on Fridays. Kid you not, lobsters, whole lobsters, get like 3-4 of them. They'll hand them out. It's awesome.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much for your time.
You got it. Thank you. I'll give you knuckles.
Well, wait, this one. All right, I'm here with Matt. Is it Matt or Matthew?
Either one.
I'm here with Matt or Matthew, either one. He's the executive chef of the Jackson Rancheria. And I got a little curious because we're looking at some exciting beers, some great food. What's the beer selection and the menu like at the Lone Wolf compared to what you're doing today?
Lone Wolf, we actually try to dress it down to you being comfortable with our restaurant. So we have, Budweiser on tap, we have Bud Light, Coors Light in a bottle, or we have some nice snowshoe ale on tap, we have Stella. We try to be everything to everybody, up there at Lone Wolf. I actually think the food up there is fantastic. We have a couple of programs like Locals Night, which is fantastic. You could bring a bottle of wine from a local vineyard, corkage is free, and 20% off your bill for food. So pretty fantastic deal up there at Lone Wolf. The other thing I like at Lone Wolf is date night on Friday night. It's a 3-course menu that the chef, myself, front of house manager, food and beverage manager, one of our special cooks up there, we create a menu with all 5 of us, $25 a person, and it's fantastic. Very seasonal menu.
Some call it fate, if you want, an accident or probably not. Oh, coincidence of innocence, so just be. Some call it luck, some call it chance. Oh, a change of circumstance, a glimpse of what must be my destiny. Some call it sweet, some call it true. The way I feel about you could never be easily torn in two. I love your face, I love your laugh. I'll even let you wear my hat. So baby, please follow me to the moon and now. Some call it love, I must agree, and hopefully you'll love me.
I'm here with local favorite Tessie Marie and the Poor Man Band. This is Tess and Allie. So I understand you're on TSBN a lot because you're at a lot of events. But what makes this event special, and are you having a good time?
This event is very special because I look around the room and I just see people that I've known around the county for years. It's great food, great beer, great fun, and one of my favorite people put it on. Her name is Bailey Burton. Thanks, Bailey, for hiring us. And you guys are here, so it makes it awesome.
Cool. So you have a ukulele, and Allie's playing guitar. Do you use ukulele a lot in your music?
Just here and there, just to spice it up a little bit, you know. Not trying to be too cliche.
Alrighty. Now, Allie, what's your musical specialty? What do you add into the mix?
I play classical guitar, a variety of finger-picking styles, and with the band I play the upright bass, and we have a drummer and guitar player, and we do a lot of good music. Tessie's wrote some music. We've been playing together for about 6 years now, doing a lot of different events and having a good time.
Cool. So this is a beer event, pairing beer and food. What kind of music do you think goes best with beer?
You know, beer is like a earthy, kind of weedy, grainy, hoppy kind of thing. So probably some blues and some country, and just mix it up with a little bit of other spicy stuff.
Some blues, so something like earthy, like Delta blues or something like that?
Yes.
Do you have any blues songs in your set coming up?
We do.
Awesome. So what's the name of it so I can look out for it?
Let's do Walkin' Blues.
Walker Blues?
Walkin' Blues.
Walkin' Blues, got it. Alrighty. Anything else you guys want to say, or do you want to do a little?
Well, just want to say Jackson Rancheria is a great place to hang out. I mean, I've been coming here ever since it opened up.
Cool.
Great place.
Can you guys do a little bluesy riff on your?
Well, I woke up this morning and I felt around for my shoes. That's when I knew I had them old. I had them old walking blues. Well, I woke up this morning, Daddy. Oh, I felt around for my shoes. That's when I knew I had them old. I had and what I had, it was gone. Well, I feel like going out. Gonna leave my old and lonesome home. Yeah, as I woke up this morning, sugar, and what I had, it was gone.
All right, I'm here with two members of the local business community. We have Kathleen from Hellwig Winery, everybody knows their wine, and Noah from the National Hotel. So they've come out to enjoy the event, and I'm going to ask them a few questions about how they're doing. So I'm going to start with you, Kathleen. You work in the wine industry, so you're coming to a beer event. How is beer pairing with food a little different from wine pairing, and are you having a good time?
I'm having a great time, and it's not that different because you're still pulling out characteristics from either the beer or the wine, but obviously with the hops it's a totally different flavor, but it's good and it's nice to have something different than wine, even though wine's amazing.
What about you, Noah? Are you more of a beer person or a wine person?
I'm definitely a beer person. This is my thing right here. Everything's been real good so far.
Perfect. So I know in Amador County, we're really known for the wine. Recently, places have been carrying more interesting beers. We're having some more beer events. As a beer person, do you like that and want to see more of it?
Oh yeah, I'd definitely come to any of these kind of events. I lean a little more towards the beer than the wine, I guess.
So what's your favorite kind of beer? And among the mix here, what's your favorite you've tasted so far?
Well, I've only tried one, so I can't compare anything here, but I'm a dark ale kind of guy.
Dark ale kind of guy. So have you tried their black rye IPA yet?
Not yet. That's what I'm going to next.
Cool. So what about you? So far from what you've tasted, what do you like and what do you...
The first one, I'm like a Blue Moon type of a girl, a shock top, more summer, lighter IPAs, but I really liked what I've had so far. It's been good. So
is there any kind of beer that you normally shy away from?
Yeah, I mean, I like Guinness, but I'm kind of the opposite of what he is. They're really, really heavy, really hoppy. I'm not a huge fan of, but when it's paired with the right food, just like wine, it takes those, kind of the sharper characteristics out. So we'll see how that mellows for me.
So if you were talking to a wine lover and trying to get them into beer, how would you help them make the transition?
That's a good question. I would say that if you're a wine lover, you love the romance and the nostalgia and everything that goes into crafting something, and it's the same thing whether it be a wine, a beer, or whiskey. And it's always fun to pair different food with different items, so why not venture out and do like a wine and beer tasting?
Cool. Well, and Noah, I know you... Yeah, let's do it that sounds really good. Let's do it right now.
Let's do it right now.
Let's do it at Hellwig.
Bottles out.
Okay, so you go back to Hellwig and you do the first wine and beer event at a winery.
I would love to do that. There's a brewery coming soon.
I hear it. Rumors.
There is.
All right. So now, as a beer guy, aside from what you're tasting here, which is all great beer, what are some of your favorite beers and breweries, specifically in the California area?
I'm a big Lagunitas guy, probably. That's my favorite one around here. But that's the main one right now.
The main one? So you say like black, so do you have a favorite in Lagunitas that's more of a black, stout kind of beer?
No, I'm a fan of all of them. I can't say I lean towards one in particular.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks you guys for talking to me, and enjoy, and we'll get out of your hair, let you enjoy the beer and food. Thank you. All right, I'm here with, I guess your name is Jamie or something like that?
Hi, how are you today?
Pretty good. So I know you're already on TSBN, so I thought that the viewers would be familiar with you, and you might tell them how awesome this event is so they can come next year.
I thought you were coming for my autograph.
Oh,
No?
I actually didn't recognize you.
That's it. Fine. You know what? It is a lovely night, and what a gorgeous night out here in Jackson. And I have all my fantastic friends with me, and we're enjoying some great beer. And it's nice. It's nice that Casino does these kinds of things. So something besides wine, too. Not that there's anything wrong with wine.
So we're all wine people, right? But we also love beer. So what's it like having more and more beer stuff going on in the county? How does it feel?
Oh, that's great, isn't it? I mean, because my husband's not a wine drinker, so it's kind of fun to have these options. And the winery tonight is actually from Paso Robles, and our daughter is headed to Cal Poly, so we've actually already visited this brewery, so it's kind of nice to have them here tonight and get to know them and I think that's good stuff.
Now, if she's going to school, though, you don't want her too familiar with the brewery.
No, she can't be familiar with the brewery yet, but Mom and Dad certainly are.
Okay. So you guys can stay at the brewery when you're visiting her?
Yeah, we've visited. They have a great 805 beer down there, which is their area code. I think we need a 209 beer, don't you?
I think a couple of people have mentioned that tonight, funny enough. Two last questions, then I'll totally leave you alone.
Okay.
The first is, what's your favorite beer from what you've tasted so far tonight? And then the second is, what beer would you recommend to a wine person?
Oh, well, that's a tough. I mean, I'll answer the second question first. It depends on what wine they drink, right? Because if they drink only orange muscat, I would say you probably want to drink Coors Light Summertime, which is that orangey summer beer. Look, I was really serious about that question, huh? I really thought about that for a minute. And tonight, I really like the IPA. I think it's really nice. And this tri-tip is amazing. I think to the Rancherias, people make the food because the food's fantastic.
We were talking to their chefs, and one of their chefs is a beer person, a beer geek, so they really got into it.
Yeah, the food's really fantastic tonight. And the arugula salad. Go have some arugula, something. Like if you can make
arugula. If
you can make arugula good, you can do anything.
So thanks for taking the time to talk, stranger that nobody knows. And I guess we'll go bother some other people.
Go bother some other people. Nice to see you.
Alrighty, I'm here with two beer lovers. One of them a self-proclaimed beer snob. The other one just a beer lover. Dave and Dan. And they're going to talk a little bit about the beer they've been having today. So why don't we start with Dave? What have you been drinking and how have you been liking it?
Well, I tried them all. You know, you got to come to a tasting event, you got to try them all. I do favor the darker beers, so the black IPA is very good. Very chocolatey, malty. Nice, good, full flavor. Usually has a good head on it, so yeah, it's good.
So for people not familiar with Firestone, what are some other similar black IPAs or black IPAs that they might get them an idea for what it tastes like?
One similar to this is 21st Amendment's black IPA. Very similar to that.
Back in Black?
Yes.
Cool. And what else, aside from the black IPA, what are the other ones that you really liked, and kind of how are they similar to some other beers that you taste?
The IPA was very good, pretty hoppy, pretty close to a lot of other IPAs.
Pretty typical California fare?
Yeah.
Cool. So now, as a beer lover, he was talking about it from a beer geek standpoint. Now you can talk about it from a beer love standpoint. Where are you feeling the love tonight?
I'm with him. I really like the Black Rye IPA. This is my favorite so far. They've all been really good. This is my first time trying the Firestone. They've all been really good. The food here is really good with it. They've paired nicely. Some of the food's amazing.
So are you first-time Firestone guy, are you pretty impressed with their beer?
Yeah, I'm not really a big IPA guy. I've told him that before, but I'm not afraid to try something new. I know when you try a beer, you got to try them all because you never know what you're going to like. But I do like the IPA. These IPAs are really good.
Not too bitter, balanced, approachable?
They go down smooth.
So if you were introducing beer to a non-beer person, somebody that only drinks Coors or Bud, they want to get into craft beer, how would you say they should approach getting into more crafty beers?
I would try the less hoppy stuff and work your way up, I think. Would you agree, sir?
I would go with the Pilsner. Pilsner's very close to a Coors or Bud Light as far as the level of flavor and spiciness. Then you can start working your way up to a Pale Ale, then an IPA. As the alcohol content gets stronger, there's more flavor going around.
So
working way darker.
So Pilsner, Pale Ale, IPA, and then explore the crazy other stuff.
Yes.
Cool. Now, was he right?
Yes.
Do you say that? Do you say that very often?
No.
Are you guys brothers?
Yes.
Are you Captain America?
No comment.
No comment. No comment. So, yes, he is Captain America. All right, one last question, and I'll let you guys go. What were your favorite food items tonight?
I haven't tried dessert yet, but I gotta say the tri-tip.
Tri-tip. I think every person said the tri-tip. What about you?
Tri-tip was really good. I agree. My favorite was actually the hot wings.
What about you?
Tri-tip was really good. I agree. My favorite was actually the hot wings. I guess they said they hooked in like a fish oil, which surprised me. I was a little nervous, but they were very good. Get some really good flavor out of it.
Cool. Anything else you guys want to add to the viewing audience of Amador County?
Drink beer. It's all good.
Come up to Jackson Rancheria Casino. This is a great event.
All right. Hey, thanks for your time, guys.
Thanks.
All right, I'm back here with Duncan, and Duncan is going to walk me through what he describes as the flavor ladder.
The flavor ladder, yeah, the flavor ladder of Firestone Walker tonight.
Alrighty, so tell me a little bit about how the beer works as a progression, and then we'll kind of dive into each one.
Well, the flavor ladder in this case is going to work. It's our Pivo Pilsner. It's kind of a lighter, summer, crisp beer. We get into our pale ales, which are going to be a little heavier, sweeter. Union Jack's our IPA. You're going to have a lot of big, bold flavors to that, and a little bit higher on the alcohol. Ending with Wookie Jack, which is a nice, dark, citrus-flavored beer that's a little higher in alcohol than all three of the previous.
Cool, so it kind of goes from light to dark, low alcohol to high alcohol?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's dive right in, starting with the Pilsner. So I'm going to taste this. All right, so tell me a little bit about the flavors that I'm tasting here.
So Pivo Pilsner, it's a nice, light, crisp beer. So light in the body, crisp in the flavor, and with the hops we're using in this, straight imported from Germany. All the ingredients are straight from Germany. Get a nice lemon, zesty taste to it. It's a great, just summer, middle of the day drinking beer that you can enjoy.
Yeah, I like it. It's light. I can definitely taste the, gosh, I wouldn't call it wheatiness or barleyness, but I could taste the grain part of it. Does that make any sense? I'm not a beer expert.
Well, Pilsner grain is definitely unique. Pilsner is a lagered beer, which Budweiser, Coors, they're lagered beers. They're made a little bit different. They take longer to make. They were from Germany, Pilsen, Germany to be exact, and they have definitely a unique flavor profile. Very much made for work in the fields in the summer, agriculture, and you want a nice, crisp, light beer at the end of the day. Nothing too heavy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crisp, it's light, and I kind of feel like if I'd never tried craft beer before, this would be very good because it's similar to what I'm familiar with, but a lot better.
Right, exactly. And again, most Americans are used to that lagered beer, and this would just be a next step up from your usual light lagers or macro lagers that most people are used to.
Awesome. All right, so moving on from the Pilsner, I'm not going to throw this out. I'll be drinking this. This is my zone, the Pale Ale zone.
Pale Ales.
So what do we got here first off?
So this is called Pale 31. This is an ode to California, if you will. California was the 31st state in the Union. So this is what we kind of gave as an ode to California. Lighter in alcohol actually than Pivo, but it's got a little more body and a lot more flavor to it. You get a lot of great citrusy flavors to it. Great with light fare, fish, salads, another great easy drinking midday beer, if you will.
So how is the process of making a pale ale different from a lager, and how does that kind of result in a different kind of flavor?
Well, it's actually very different. Lagers and Pilsners are about almost twice as long to make. They need to rest for a long time. Lager in Germany actually means to rest. And just the style of the beer takes a little bit longer. Pale ales, you see most craft breweries making pale ales because you can turn and burn them, if you will. And the flavor diversity in ales are much greater. You can have dark ales, you can have lighter ales, you can get all kinds of flavors in them. Lagered beers, Pilsners as a type of lager, they tend to stay in that very crisp, simple, refreshing flavor profile.
So when I taste this pale ale, I'm going to taste more of the hops than the wheat side.
Absolutely. It's going to be a little sweeter, it's going to be a little hoppier, and in terms of the hops we're using in this, you're going to get a nice citrusy, sweet flavor out of it.
All right, let's give it a try. Let's see here.
I thought you'd never ask.
Yeah. Oh, it smells. You can smell that sort of herbaceous note, like right off your nose, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is one of the most awarded pale ales
in its
class, and great food pairing beer and great session pale ale.
So did you say this was dry hopped, or?
It is dry hopped, actually. We use a hop called Centennial. So Sierra Nevada's pale ale is very famous for using the Cascade hop. We choose to use the Centennial hop, which gives it more of a juicy fruit, citrusy flavor to it.
Almost a little bit of grapefruit, maybe?
Absolutely, almost a little bit of grapefruit. Centennial's not the only hop we use. We use a hop called Cascade, with Sierra Nevada Pale made famous. That definitely gives you a bit of a grapefruit flavor to it.
Got it. I really like this. And if I were to describe, as a layperson, the difference between this and a Sierra Nevada, I think this comes in a little more on the bitter side, but definitely in a good way, not in an overbearing way.
Yeah, definitely. We kind of tone down the malt sweetness in our pale ale and focus on that citrusy hop flavor, whereas Sierra Nevada tends to focus a little more on their sweeter, cascadey grapefruit flavor.
Wonderful. And you mentioned dry hopping, which is kind of interesting. is it relatively new, or how does it work?
Dry hopping's been around for a while. Dry hopping is the process of adding hops after fermentation in a beer has taken place. So when you add hops after fermentation has taken place and your beer is resting for a couple weeks, you're purely using that hop for flavor and aroma, whereas when you're using the hop during the actual beer making process, you're going to extract some bitterness out of that as well.
Oh, so the idea is you get sort of all of the whimsical light sides of the hops, but none of the sort of hardcore, I'm a big IPA guy side.
Correct, yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to put it.
Cool. Well, thank you. Okay, now we're moving on to my favorite kind of beer, IPA. What do you got here?
IPA, Union Jack. This is one of the most award-winning IPAs in its class. Probably going to be our flagship beer here pretty soon. It's the fastest growing beer we have. It is a great hopped IPA, but we actually put a lot of malt in here to balance it out with some sweetness. So although it is very high in IBUs, which is how you measure a bittering in a beer, we have a lot of malt in there to balance it out, so it's not overpowering on your palate.
Now, I was in the Marine Corps, so I'm familiar with the term Union Jack as the standard that is flown in some Navy groups, and the Navy SEALs don't tread on me. Is there any connection between that Union Jack and your beer?
Well, it's actually funny you mentioned that. You're right in the zone of our brewery. Adam Firestone, we're called Firestone Walker, and it's because of Adam Firestone and a guy named David Walker. Adam Firestone was a Marine, served in Desert Storm, and his brother-in-law is David Walker, who's from England. And as we call the American flag Old Glory, they call their flag in Britain Union Jack. And the actual style of IPA was originated in Britain, so it's an ode to not only David Walker, but the style of IPA as well.
So the mythos that I remembered was sort of correct, but not quite.
Sort of correct, but not quite, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, at least my memory's not that faulty. I mean, by the time I'm over here, I might be making up all kinds of stuff.
And that's the great thing about craft beer. It's all about having fun and drinking the beer, you know?
Okay, so we're going to try this Union Jack IPA. This is really good.
Great hop flavor, a lot of malt sweetness to balance it out.
Well, like sticks to the side of the glass.
This is, and like wine, you know, wine has legs. A great IPA and great hop forward pale ale will actually have legs on the side of the glass. You'll see those bubbles stick to the side of the glass, and that's a great sign of a well-made beer.
So I can taste the similar flavors you described in this one with the hoppiness, but I am tasting sweetness, and the mouth feels a little smoother. So this is really good.
Yeah,
I'm just going to have one more drink.
We often joke at Firestone, Pale 31 is Union Jack's little brother. Very similar beers. One's just a little more aggressive than the other.
So is the malt what makes it kind of smooth?
The malt sweetness is, yeah, absolutely. This is actually a lot more aggressively hopped than Pale 31. We're raising the malt bill in this, if you will, and adding that sweetness to balance it out, so it's not an overwhelming amount on your palate.
So it doesn't ruin your palate.
Exactly. It's not going to crush your palate. There's enough in there to kind of balance it out and give you that sense that you're getting a little bit more than just a hop blast in your mouth.
Cool. All right, so we're on to the last one now, which obviously, if you were to look at this as a collection, this stands out visually. So what do we got going here?
So this is our unfiltered black rye IPA. And when people look at this beer, they'll often look at it as a Guinness or something that's just heavy and dark and very chocolatey sweet, whereas in fact it's an IPA. So like Union Jack and its little brother Pale 31, you're going to get a wonderful bitterness and citrus flavor to it, but because of the dark malts we're using, you get this nice chocolatey flavor out of it as well. And because of the rye, a little toastiness to it as well.
So you take a stout, a rye IPA, you snap it together, and you got this?
It's like a hodgepodge of stout porter meets IPA and pale ale, basically.
Okay, well I'm excited to try this. Let's give it a shot. Definitely black. Oh, it smells different. Well, that rye, I mean, you could taste rye bread in here.
Oh, absolutely, definitely, and that's why we wanted to put rye in there. It's just a huge hodgepodge of flavors, and we get the name Wookiee. Our brewmaster actually wanted to make this extremely gnarly beer, and The great debate is the beer named for Chewbacca or is it named for his favorite band, Fish, where a lot of groupies, if you will, of the band Fish are called Wookiees. So it's a great debate, but nonetheless a great, gnarly tasting beer.
Well, I'm a Star Wars fan, and I gotta say, if Chewbacca were to drink a beer, it might be this one.
I think he would be a fan. I agree.
And look at this. You got the this little sort of mocha-colored foam around the edge here.
And that's where a lot of dark malts, you're getting coffee, chocolatey, toffee, almost like flavors. And if you take your beer almost like wine, you swirl it around, you'll see that mocha-like head on the beer.
How do you swirl it around without spilling it? Is it an art form?
It takes a lot of practice. It is indeed an art form, and you will spill a lot, but you'll get there eventually where you can swirl it around like a wonderful glass of wine.
It's funny, I could do this with wine. I can't do this with beer for some reason. Maybe it's the glass. I'm going to blame the glasses.
I'm going to be right there with you. Let's blame the glass.
All right, so I'm tasting everything you're describing. Definitely coffee, chocolate, even a little unsweetened toffee there. But I still taste the rye and the way that you describe the hops. So it's kind of everything that we've talked about here put together.
Absolutely. The main hop in this is a hop called Citra, and we want that citrusy flavor out of it. And Chef did a great job pairing this tonight with his desserts. You get that toffee, coffee, dessert chocolatey flavor with it, but you're also getting this wonderful citrus. So it's almost like a citrusy chocolate dessert in a beer.
Oh, I know Citra. They have that. There's a lot of famous IPAs out there like Simtra and Pliny the Elder. Is that where that hop comes from?
Absolutely. Those are huge. Simtra's a rather new hop.
Yeah.
Hops are almost like grapes nowadays, and it's appropriate. We're talking about this up in Amador. Simtra's a rather new hop.
Yeah.
Hops are almost like grapes nowadays, and it's appropriate. We're talking about this up in Amador. There's all different kinds of varieties of hops, and they all impart their own different unique flavors. And Simtra is one of the most popular hops, new hops in America, and Citra is a great example of a citrusy, almost tropical fruit-like flavor that you can put in your beer.
Cool. Well, I've learned a lot. I picked up some terms so I can start talking the right way about beer, and I really appreciate your time. Anything else you want to throw in for the uninitiated to help them, learn a little bit about craft beer?
The easiest way to learn about craft beer is just dive in and try stuff. Try it, look it up online. Just experiment. Beer is fun. It's not meant to be prestigious in a way that is uninclusive. Go out, try something new, try a 22-ounce bomber, try a six-pack you never tried before, and just have fun with it.
So I just burped a little bit. Beer, at a beer event, it's okay to burp. Wine event, maybe not. So if you're a burping kind of person, beer's the way to go?
Beer has always been a blue-collar type of drink, and even though beer has exploded, and a lot of the beer geeks, if you will try and hold it on a high pedestal, it's still just an everyday drink, and we want to have fun with it and enjoy it.
Well, I got to tell you, I tasted Firestone before coming here, but now I'm a pretty big fan because everything I tasted here tonight was amazing. So I really appreciate the time, and I learned a lot, and most importantly, I got to drink some great beer.
I just burped myself. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, thank you, Duncan. All right, so from everybody at TSBN and all the staff at the casino and Firestone, thanks for watching. We had a great time, and make sure you come out next year and taste some good food, drink some great beer, and have some fun with some good people.
Cheers.
Bye.